This project kind of looks like a need right now. I've had these yarns in the stash for quite some time now, and I think it's probably time to use them. This one is sock weight, or fingering weight, it's a sock yarn. And this one is a baby alpaca lace weight. I purchased these from a local shop that was going out of business. I think they got the whole lot for about $70. I'll have to check my receipts. But I recently found some patterns by petiteknit that call for, you guessed it, fingering weight and lace weight held double. And I think I could make 2 vests / pullovers. I'm going to do a really quick swatch and see if I meet gauge with the needles I have, and if I do, then we can go ahead and get started on the project. I finished balling up the yarns, and I'm very interested to see what they're going to look like when held double, because I'm noticing that this is a little bit more of a taupe and this is more of like a peachy color. There's definitely some pink undertones in there I saw while I was winding up. I'm going to do a swatch with these 4.5mm needles. I'm also concerned that the yarn might be too thin even when held double, mostly because I prefer a tighter weave, a tighter knit, and this is very clearly probably not going to give me that. And I'm also concerned that if I have to undo or unpick things, that this will be hard to do because there's 2 yarns here. It might get tangled. So this is my completed swatch. I am not hitting gauge. This is also not blocked, so that could be part of it. Gauge is, I believe, 19 stitches per 10 centimeters horizontally, and I'm not sure what it is vertically, but in my head I'm just gonna keep knitting until I meet the length requirement that I want. But I think with blocking this will stretch out a little bit. Something else that I was super concerned about is how much you can kind of see through the stitches. I prefer a denser weave, but here you can kind of see like there's definitely holes, and I'm hoping with blocking and with like a little use, you know, it will maybe felt a little bit, or there'll be some extra fibers and so forth. So hopefully that will work out and we can start on the pattern. This project kind of looks like a need right now. I started it in the airport. I took an international trip to Taiwan recently, and I worked on it on the plane and while I was in Taiwan, and also on the plane ride back. And this is kind of how far I've gotten. It does look small, but keep in mind that there is going to be ribbing on either sides, and it is stockinette entirely, so there is some curl to it. But that's the back, and then I also have part of a shoulder done. This is going to be a V-neck piece, so the idea is that this will be the front and it will be a V-neck. It is twisted right now, but that will get solved. I've been going pretty crazy with the stockinette this weekend, just really kind of grinding out rows, and now it's actually starting to look like something. I am always constantly very surprised about how far knit can get you, because I'm still on the original 2 balls that I wound up, and I have been able to get like a whole, probably about half of this vest done. So I've gone ahead and finished off the sock yarn. Obviously there is still some lace weight left because there is a 20-yard difference between the lace weight length and the sock yarn length. the length currently. It's almost like 45 centimeters. Yeah, it's about 46 centimeters from the cast on edge, and according to the pattern, I need to do 48 centimeters from the cast on edge. So we still have a little bit left to go before we can start on the ribbing. I prefer my garments a little bit shorter. I have a shorter torso and longer legs, so my shirts are always too long and my pants are always too short. So whenever it says, oh, you know, do X, Y, and Z, I'm always thinking like, is that gonna fit me? Is it going to fit me? Is it going to fit me? So definitely something to think about. And also the garment, like holding it up, is not a true indication of the size because my shoulders are a little wide. So it might set a little bit more like this as opposed to like this. So it just gives it a little bit shorter length when you wear it, you know, with shoulders. So I think for right now, I am going to wind up both of these skeins here. Okay, so bad news, divas. I got to the ribbing portion of this vest and I was one off. So like I'd reach the end of the round and then it would be two like purl stitches back to back and I'd be like, well, crap. Turns out that I have added an extra stitch accidentally all the way back here when we added the extra stitch for the v-neck, because I had a slip stitch on the needles to prevent one of these vest straps from coming unraveled, and I accidentally knit into it. I tried to ladder back, but this is a lot of slack to distribute, so I think we're just gonna have to rip. I'm just gonna pull everything off the needles here because we have quite a lot of slack, which is really devastating because I can't believe I got to the end of the sweater basically before I realized. So that's really unfortunate. So she's all off, all the needles, all the stitches are off. Okay, a million years later, I have the smaller needle threaded through the vest where I'm going to pick up stitches when I'm done, and so all of here to here needs to come unraveled. So I guess here we go. Pile. I tinked back to the beginning where it was still like an open vest before we joined everything, and I counted all the stitches. They're the correct amount of stitches. Hopefully, if I join everything correctly this time with no extra slip stitches, we will have 170, and yes, I will count before I do the entire body. So we've joined and I've gotten a few rows done. The thought of having to do like a million more rows is kind of killing me of just regular stockinette. So I'm just gonna pick up for the sleeves. I've done my 9 rounds of the rib, and now I'm gonna try and use my Kitchener stitch hack sheet to bind off my Kitchener. Hello and welcome to my couch. So I have gotten this back to the point that I was at when I had to unfortunately unravel it all. And this time I've correctly measured. I've made sure that it is about 48 centimeters long from the back. And so I think I'm comfortable to go ahead and start the ribbing now. I haven't tried it on yet because these needles, like the circular needles, are not wide enough for me to get over my torso without stretching a few of the stitches off. I'm gonna do 4 centimeters of ribbing and see where we're at, and then I'm gonna try it on after binding it off, and hopefully that will be a great length. Folks, so welcome to my bathroom. I cleaned off the sink for you guys. I hope you feel very welcome. I hope you feel like a guest in this home. This is basically as far as we have gotten, and I'm a little concerned that this is too small. The reason I feel this way is because I've tried it on, and I think it might be a little bit too small. I will say it has not been blocked yet, but I also did not block the swatch. And the problem here is that I don't know if you can see, but I made the ribbing very cinched, which is bad because that is the part of me that does not need to be cinched. I do have enough yarn to make a medium if it comes to that. Hopefully it won't, because this has already taken me like literally forever. Okay, moment of truth. So this is how it fits right now. I'm a little apprehensive because I do kind of like, I don't know, I do kind of like the fit around the waist. I think that's fine. The fit here, I wish was a little bit more loose and drapey. I don't know if that's gonna come with blocking or what it is. And then this down here, I'm just a little bit concerned about because it looks like it's stretched out of shape. I just don't really like where we're going here. It just feels very frumpy. I started this in January and it is now March. Oopsies. It's taken me absolutely ages to pick up the right number of stitches around the v-neck. I can never seem to pick up the correct amount of stitches on the first try. So I always pick up more than I need and I can never figure out where to cut them, but I was able to successfully do it. What gave me trouble this time was the point. I had it over here instead of in this middle here, but we were able to get everything done.
My dryer makes the exact same noise, and y'all better believe we're throwing it back.
Okay, welcome back to my bathroom. Today I do have something very exciting to show you, and it's my completed sweater vest. Wait, I want to do one of those drop reveals. Okay, I recognize that this is not a blanket, but ta-da! So this is her pre-blocked. I put on a form-fitting shirt. This is from Everlane, and it's very well loved. You can see that there's stains on it. But I just think that this piece shows better with form-fitting clothing. So I'm just going to try it on, show you how it looks, and then kind of talk blocking strategy. Alright, this is her. I think she's kind of cute. I don't know if I would. I think I probably would not tuck it in, just because this part down here, it's so not stretchy. But we could try it. Wow, is it giving prep? Is it giving prep yet? Am I giving old money? Am I giving like Blair, what's her face from Gossip Girl? Am I serving? Anyway, so the plan right now is to block this aggressively. I don't know how well that's gonna work out on account of this is wool, but it's super wash merino, which means that it does tend to block out, but only to a certain extent. It doesn't grow as much as some of the other wool blends out there. I did purchase some wool wash off of Amazon. I just got this soak scentless. And the important part about having wool wash is because, number one, you obviously need to wash your garment. I've been taking this project around with me everywhere. Lord knows where it's been, on what surfaces it has been placed. A little goes a long way, so you don't need to buy too much. But I'll show you how I'll block it, and again, I'm going to block it rather aggressively. The items you're going to need for this segment of your project are fairly simple. Obviously, your project. Can't block your project without your project. You're gonna need some sort of tub. Another thing you're going to need is going to be obviously your wool wash that I showed you in the last clip, a towel to wring out any of the excess water, and then this part's kind of optional. I've seen people do it without, I've seen people do it with, but I have them, so I'm gonna use them. And these are blocking mats. I prefer blocking mats that are specifically for knitting and crochet because they have these little lines on them that are exactly 1 inch by 1 inch. So I can make sure my projects are symmetrical, they are exactly as long as I want them to be,
and they just fit kind of the parameters that I'm looking for. These blocking mats are also 1 inch thick, so it's really easy to stab the little T-pins into them without stabbing it into your flooring. Step 1 is fill up your bucket with water and put a little bit of wool wash in it. It doesn't have to be a lot. Okay, and we're just going to drop our project into the water. I hope there's no space for it. Ooh. Yeah. It smells like sheep. I don't know what I expected. For background, this is the first project that I'm making with like a nice yarn, a nice natural yarn. I usually make projects with acrylic. So this is my first wool/alpaca project. I know I look so knowledgeable, so it's hard to tell. So we're just gonna let that soak for a little bit while I lay out the towel and the blocking mat. Cool, so this is our surface and here are our T-pins if we need them, but for now, let's put this to the side. I'm really not quite sure how much they recommend you soak these things for, but it seems pretty soaked. So I'm just going to go ahead and dump the water out. It really smells so heavily of sheet. So it's still going to be pretty wet, and at this point, I feel pretty comfortable just not wringing it, not twisting it, but just going ahead and squeezing all the extra water out. Kind of like you're milking a cow. That's crazy how much water this thing holds. All right. I'm gonna go dump this bit out. Okay, I feel like it's kind of already grown, which is good. But anyway, next step. I'm gonna place it down on a towel and squeeze all of the extra water out. All right, now she's just a little damp. Blocking mat time. I'm just gonna lay it out kind of approximately how I would want it. I'm generally happy with this.
And now we just gotta let it sit and wait for it to dry. She's dry.